Every day, the world is confronting fiery and chaotic situations. Furthermore, the climate change is beginning to accelerate at the point most of the experts think it will be catastrophic for humanity. Even with a lot of scientists that fight for getting the formula that could fix the climate change, it results that we have our days numbered. The CO2 emissions are high enough to reverse climate change without changing the foundations of civilization.
Of cooperation, compromise.
Following the last events, the attacks looks like everything it's being set up by something bigger than an unchained bioelectronic experiment. Not even Hidden Wars has Cold War era. Most of the attacks were not focused on really strategic objectives, but it looks like to be for some kind of common end. By the other side, an organization looks to be poking his nose out. Some of the old members of the association declare to form part of something bigger. After being treated with different kind of interrogation methods by the CEA, all with the UNESCO approbation, thanks to the serum of truth and some long sessions of interrogation, the CEA looks to reach some kind of conclusion. The information we're talking about is classified, but they miss something. The Storm Area 51 initiative. During the commotion of the event, some classified documents were stolen. It looks like a joke, but the weapons are equipped with the last in sensory cancellation for the flies. Electromagnetic waves inhibit the fly's receptors and pulses a voltaic wave of 2000 volts, the same as an electric chair. The danger is imminent, and some countries are working actively to curb it. The members questioned were organizers of the largest manifestations of the Extinction Rebellion, controlling large amounts of groups and placing them. According to the information leaked on WikiLeaks, above them are the managers. They were in charge of providing all the necessary means for the organization. Taking into account the estimated capital, can be said that something does not add up. It is known that they receive a substantial subsidy from the high places people, something that it's not really reflected on their projects. What will happen with the surplus money? Finally, there are the auditors. They are scarce and elusive. They claim to be the one who maintain the moral structure of the organization by checking their protesters to not go beyond certain limits. Mother of all warfare is iron discipline, and these auditors make sure their militants go into the right path. But what will do an environmental organization with the fly? Aren't they mean to buffer the effects of climate change? To defend life on Earth? Besides, even if they had the capital resources, who will they obtain the scientific knowledge capable of developing a project like the fly? The unknown nature of the fly could be closely related with some of the McCall's ultra alleged experiments with animals. It may be that somehow the British organization obtained information from such experiments, or it may be one of the founders knew the right person at the right time. Tamsin Amont has been recognized as one of the most influential gay people in the UK. Her speech is loaded with references to the social injustice that are borne by the small percentage of ultra-wealthy people. Behind the words of change and revelation that hopes hundreds and thousands of people of their organization across the globe. It is possible that a message of misanthropy and rejection of society is hidden. Gail Bradbuck, the second co-founder, she graduated in molecular biophysics, but because their interest in animal rights, she joined the Green Party at the age of 14. She participated in as many fights she could. Also married twice, but that wasn't the most important thing in her life. The most important thing were the contacts she made. Having enough influence to motivate hundreds of thousands of people to fight for his cause. 2021, Simon Bramwell, fellow and co-founder of XR, appeared at the Southwark Crown Court along with other 6 rebels. They were charged in criminal damage for the value £25,000 at Shell's London headquarters. In a landmark ruling, 6 of the defendants were not found guilty after admitting criminal damage. Something looks very strange. One doesn't get out with those charges so easily. Who knows if Gail Bradbuck, with whom he has a close relationship, might have been able to get into the act. Who knew that an organic farmer could organize people on a massive scale to fight climate change? He was highly controversial for an interview where he said that the Holocaust was just another piece of shit in human history. And he added that the fact is that millions of people in our history have been killed regularly in terrible circumstances. For one of the most controversial founders, we found out there is scarce amount of information about him. We only found one of his quotes, and it's pretty interesting. It says, unlike many spontaneous rebellions and uprisings fueled by social media in recent years, Extinction Rebellion has been carefully planned. All of this information could not look like much on its own, but if we tie it together, how can Extinction Rebellion be related with the Fly project? If the first attacks of the Fly were recorded before the foundation, early experiments brought experiment to life, but it was scrapped by the government after Kennedy's election, even that it looks to be more than it seems. Years later, SpaceX rescued the project, and it became a very powerful invention with great potential. There are several targets that it's not clear what unites them. The Beirut explosion, the Michael Jackson murder, the Notre Dame tragedy, the Volkswagen scandal, the dubious presidential election, and the COVID. These events have something in common, but it is not destabilization in governments. Take it down iconic characters. Also, it is not to boycott companies. The only thing they have in common is acceleration of climate change. Who would an organization that fights for environmentalism wants to accelerate climate change? With these attacks, they have managed to destabilize countries until they end up on the brink of war or collapse. If instead of uniting force for fighting climate change, we fight among ourselves, there will be no one left to hear the echoes of our existence.